obviously, some of us are tall, some of us are short, some of us have black hair, some of us have blonde hair, some of us dye our hair blue. These are all the characteristics, and of course a lot of other things, that make us who we are. We present ourselves and to the world in a certain sort of way, which portrays the sort of people that we are, right? This is not a new thing, this is something that we've always seen. But it's definitely something that we're seeing a lot more in the modern day. In the last 20 years or so, this is just in my lifetime, the different sorts of styles and movements that have come about in society. There's a lot more different groups that you see about, which are now verging on mainstream. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I've always perceived individuality as something to be pure and original to you. Like, the different combinations of things that you believe in and agree with will probably not come up again in someone very often, right? Whether it's a style that you have, whether it's what you like to do in your spare time, I always thought these things were true to you and only you. Now, of course, naturally, there will always be other people who share your beliefs and have the similar interests that you do, but as a comprehensive picture, I always thought this was true to the individual, right? The person themselves. But what we see, I think, nowadays is a lot of these trends are becoming mainstream. It doesn't matter which one we talk about, but a lot of these things are the trend. They are on trend. They're the cool thing to be, the cool place to go. And it's less about who we actually are. You know, even on this trip out today, I've been told a couple of times that this is a cool bike. I quite like it. I made it as I wanted it to. And every single part, minus basically the frame and the wheels, is individual. I built it the way I wanted it to be. But with that, I'm wearing a coat that isn't very cool. I'm wearing shoes that aren't very good. Would I wear them on the street by myself? No. I'm wearing them because I'm on the bike. But my point still stands. A lot of people would not use that combination of the nice bike and the terrible outfit, but when you're cycling through mud and water, it matters quite a lot less. But the point is still clear, right? True and pure individuality is about doing things how you want them to be done. Now, from that, many things can arise. But what I think we see at the minute is a lot of different counterculture moves. So let's say capitalism, right? We see counterculture moves directly off that. Let's say working, we see direct counterculture moves off that. Let's say mass-produced cheap clothing, same thing. But in these efforts to be so different, a common solution has been found. And I'm not here to say whether that's good or bad, but I think the point that I am trying to make is a lot of these things are not so true and unique to people as they may think they are. People can and should do what they want, but what I'm trying to say is we live in a day now where people think everything is so special to them, when in actuality they are also following the big trend, just one that's different. You know, certain brands that used to be quite niche and rare 15, 20 years ago, some of them are now supremely successful. And the products haven't changed, but the marketplace has. More and more people buy these products. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Support a small business, and if it grows, that's brilliant. It's nice to see a new competitor succeed. But there is a point that I'm trying to make, and that point is quite simple. You know, truly being an individual means that you do what you want. You go where you want, you shop where you want, you buy what you want, you believe what you want. That's being a true individual. What I think we see now is groups, and it's different to how we've seen them in the past, and it's great that everyone finds their little community, but everyone still thinks that they're so individual. In these efforts to become so against, and it is just a direct opposition to a lot of what we see in the world at the minute, whether it's the uniformity in big business, and subsequently people like to, start their own small tech startups, or whether it's fashion trends and therefore people like to buy used clothing, or whether it's societal norms and therefore people like to dye their hair and believe in certain things. We are now seeing these become very common. Now, of course, there are a few reasons for this. I definitely would argue that one of them goes back to big business, right? there's now a hole in the market, or there was a hole in the market for perhaps, I don't know, sustainable clothing or stuff like that, for example. Right? It's just one example, but there was a gap in the market. And then what happens when there's a gap in the market that's very easily obtainable? Businesses are going to snatch that up. So you see certain brands become the new figureheads of whether it be sustainability or ethical practices, or at least that's what they're perceived to be. But when a brand releases a new product or project, it takes a lot of money, takes a lot of research and development time, and a lot of basically business resources. They're not going to do that to make 1 or 2 sales, which is what an individualistic view would be. They're out here to make mass numbers of sales. They don't spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions or more, to develop a product for no one to buy it. Now, there are certain movements, ideas and concepts that I think we can all get on board with. Certain societal issues that I think we can all agree are problematic. But because of that, we have an umbrella marketing audience already, right? We have a group of people who will buy certain products. And because of that, these products then sell like wildfire. If we talk eco-friendly, for example, you market this to a load of people who believe in eco-friendly, now you've got a product that you're selling en masse, when actually the real individualistic answer would be everybody deals with it in a way that they see appropriately, whether that's perhaps buy older products, don't buy the product at all, that sort of stuff. Now we have a market for it. Now we have a product, a solution, a corporate solution for the problem. So that's a new product that gets marketed, and we see this an awful lot, right? Then that gets marketed and pushed to a bigger audience. The thing becomes more diluted and less about what it actually was. Now, I really am a firm believer in opportunity and choice, but people wanted to get into this sort of market because they are against big business, right? That's not what they support. They want to be their selves, their true selves, and we all do. But in a weird twist of events, this desire to be so different and individualistic is something that has been adopted by big business and also on a wider cultural level, to the point where instead of having 1 or 2 people or many people who do things their own different ways, we now have looks, right? We have the hiker look, let's say. We have the hipster look. We have the tech nerd look. We have the goth look, and so on and so forth, right? It doesn't matter what it is. There is now a general idea of what that concept is. And of course, certain people do stay true to what they genuinely believe in, irrespective of what the core culture around that subculture is. But now these are developed and devolved into subcultures rather than individualistic characteristics. Now, as I say, that's not at all a problem by my standpoint, right? I still do things the way that I see right, whether that means that people don't like it or not, but I think the problem is not necessarily the fact that we're trying to be individual. That's cool, that's great. But we are still influenced by both popular subcultures and, unfortunately, big marketing campaigns. Because let's say you wanted to construct a certain look, right? You wanted to construct, I don't know, a hiking look. Well, you might get a Patagonia coat, you might get, I don't know, a North Face fleece or something like that. You already know what you're going to buy to fit this look. But what you should do is buy the stuff that matches you. Buy the stuff that fits you. You don't even have to buy anything, right? If you want to walk up there in shorts and a t-shirt, that's up to you too. There's a reason why companies spend billions, if not trillions a year on marketing campaigns, and that's because they work. Now, we can do something to acknowledge this. Step 1, I believe, is always to be aware. If we know that this is something that, well, a lot of people see, a lot of people think about, a lot of people feel, it doesn't have to change our view to it. If we still like it, we still like it. And if we still don't like it, we still don't like it. But let's not lie. The unfortunate fact of the matter is it is heavily influenced and does subsequently heavily revolve still around big money. Again, in this desire to be someone ourselves, we've been sold these images, and that's fine if that's genuinely what we want. But for a lot of people, I do wonder, they're fitting their subculture of choice rather than fulfilling their genuine individual needs. Maybe that's a weird topic for a video, but I wanted to speak about that both on a societal level, but also how that really does intertwine with money and big business, because, like I say, I think the two are usually very, very heavily linked. Let's discuss that as the videos go on. And this was yet another example of that, or at least how I see it. As I always say, it is only just my opinion, but that's mine. So thank you for watching this one, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye. See ya.